Of the day between the home side, led out by Paul Harrigan. They take on Canterbury Bankstown today, a club that they haven't had any success with at Marathon since 1990. O'Davis is playing for the Knights. Gordon, Ainscough, Barnes, Herman, the two Johns brothers, Muir, McCormack, Harrigan, Marquette, Tracy, and Glanville. Canterbury taken out by Terry Lamb. If he score a try today, it'll make him the second highest try scorer in the game behind the great Ken Irvine. The Bulldogs, no Jason Smith, no Jared McCracken, Jason Williams, nor Dean Pay. Is their lineup decimated somewhat. Kelvin Jeffs is the referee for this big one today. I doubt that they'd fit many more in. Referee blows time on, and the great Terry Lamb starts us. And already a mistake by the Knights. Not made to pay for it though. Nathan Barnes tried to take it in spectacular fashion. Now the Chief, who should be fired up today. And look at the Canterbury side surging in.
He's been driven back, Paul Harrigan, but a great forward battle here, especially in the front row. Young Adam Muir promoted to the prop forward position. Harrigan will be on a seek and destroy mission, trying to prove selectors wrong. And James Pickering, he's been great since coming from England to this Bulldogs outfit.
The Johns brothers get their first touch of it. And Andrews put away again by a determined Canterbury defence. That apparently is the name they want to be called now. The kick, the first of the game. Inside their 20-metre line. So Dallas, the star from the test. 2 tries. Nominated in the run-on side for today. And this is only his 7th first-grade game in the run-on side. Strong defence on the number 4, Scott Davey. And now, Darren Brett on the 40-metre line. Hetherington gets a kick in from dummy half. Jim Dimmick is onside. He's gone down the ground. And he herded the Newcastle player back towards the sideline. It was Robbie O'Davis. Ainscough across now for Ashley Gordon. Newcastle on their own 30-metre line, lying equal second on the ladder as the captain takes it up. Paul Harrigan. And already there's an indication that the Bulldogs are aware that Harrigan could be fired up for a big one.
Simon Gillies just leaving a little bit early there in defence. Newcastle again looking to set up a second man play. They like to run decoys through. Gillies to get to the outside runner just a little bit too quickly as Andrew Johns finds touch. 42 out from Bulldogs line.
Tap to be taken by Rob McCormack. Harrigan with his 3rd hit up of the game. 38 metres away from the Bulldogs line. They come across through Andrew Johns and go on to the number 11, Paul Marquette. Midfield they are. Matthew Johns, a little step and then turns it inside. And Adam Muir was trailing him through. He's a good player to follow. McCormack with some fancy stuff from dummy half. Matthew Johns again. And McCormack again. Muir runs strongly down to the 10-metre line. And he's lost it. Little knock on. We'll see the loose head and feed go to the Bulldogs.
There's a drop ball there from Adam Muir. There was a little bit of room against the Canterbury defence, not coming up that quickly. Jim Dimmick went low. Pickering knocked the ball out.
This is Timu. That's great defence.
Oh, Ainscough getting up quickly on Timu. Forced him back. Terry Lamb out of dummy half finds Davey. Both teams very strong in defence, which we expected early in this game.
Ainscough has gone into this match all fired up. As the ball comes loose and back for Newcastle. They promote to the right. And Andrew Johns comes back to the centre. An elusive run by Andrew Johns. Back and across for Glanville to the line. Just inside the 10-metre point, McCormack on for Matthew Johns to give to his captain. He hits it up hard. He hits and spins back for O'Davis. And O'Davis is flung into the ground there by Jim Dimmock. To the right for Andrew Johns. Then his brother Matthew. He flicks it and then goes across to Barnes. Barnes on for Herman. Was it a forward pass? He's over. It's a try, but we'll wait for the judgment. There it is. I thought a forward pass, the last one. But he was on the line. I wasn't.
It looked a bit dicey the last pass, but the Bulldogs paying the mistake for making this penalty. Mitch Newton looking to offload. The ball came loose. Marquette knocked it back. Muir did, it was Tracy actually who did very, very well. Immediately Newcastle going to the back line. Tremendous work here from Barnes to take the impact of that tackle and keep the ball alive. It's a line ball decision, that one. Polamatta going low on Herman. That was never going to keep him out.
It didn't look as bad on the replay as when we saw it actually happening.
Did a great job again, Matthew Johns, attracting two defenders. Timu coming in, that opened up space out wide, and Herman gets his sixth career try.
The first points go to that man under the headgear, Tony Herman. I think if he took it off, I for one wouldn't know who he was. Andrew Johns now from near the touchline. Second leading point scorer. And he keeps it low, but perfectly directed. That's a lovely kick from Andrew Johns. And the red and blue army love it. 6-0 at Marathon. Newcastle with Tracy to the halfway line. In front of a bumper crowd at Marathon. Muir striding away from the tackle of Craig Polamatta and John Timu. And another penalty. Kelvin Jeffs against Canterbury for holding down.
Well, the speed of the Newcastle play the balls is causing problems for this Canterbury team. Tremendous work from Muir, stepping out of a couple of tackles. His effort to get to the feet quickly. Even Price and Terry Lamb stopped him from doing so, and Andrew Johns will now look to increase the lead. This attempt, 20 metres in, 32 metres out.
Lamb is on his feet. That's about the best thing I can say for the veteran. Andrew Johns, 296 career points in a very young career. Moving in and strikes it. Oh, he's got it on a string. He loves this part. He gets another 2 points and the Knights lead 8-0. Marathon Stadium in Newcastle under blue sky. 8 points to 0 then. As Adam Muir gets a call inside from O'Davis. O'Davis put away on the halfway line. Again, a line ball pass. Gordon not quite knowing which way to go. He was looking for a call from his playmaker. McCormack scurries into dummy half, and away it comes for Andrew Johns to step off his left foot and looked on the outside, but Muir was covered. Now that'll be a penalty to Canterbury. He had a marker.
Yeah, they're coach killers, those kind of players. I honestly believe if you play the ball forward, you have to score a try. How many times do we see a marker arrive late, the player caught out, and the penalty given to the opposition? There's just another instance.
Newton taking it ahead, but taking it up on his own, and Darren Britt is going to do the same, with the exception of Terry Lamb offering support. 30 metres out from the Newcastle line, back and across to the very wide blind side, and Dimmock combines with Silver, but they're unable to penetrate. In fact, they're on the end of a very intense Newcastle defence.
Of course, a lot of their penetration was lost when James Pickering left the field. The bad news from the dressing sheds is that he does have a suspected fractured left leg.
Oh my goodness.
Actually.
Darren Britt back across for Newton to give on. Dimmock inside. Silver! He finds a half space. Pulled down inside the 20-metre line. Hetherington pushing Polamatta out of the road. Lamb dictates to the right. And now, Darren Britt, he'll score, will he? Gets it away, and it's a forward pass. He's given a penalty for deliberately passing forward.
Unbelievable. Sydney heads opened up for Darren Britt. He seemed certain to score. O'Davis had to come up with a strong tackle. He did that, but it just seemed to be a simple offload to Simon Gillies. The referee was in good position. He's called that one deliberately forward.
He must have been in a good position. If that's forward, I'll turn the game up.
Well, we're on an angle here. From that view, it did look as though the pass was okay. If it did go forward, that's a perfect... that's the way to butcher a try, and you've got to blame your support player to some extent. He's got to stay that far onside that there's no doubt.
But Peter, not only did he rule it forward, he ruled deliberately forward and penalised.
Here's another view of it. Now it's gone backwards.
So here's McCormack now, being shovelled back by the defence. He had to show courage, McCormack. He was trying to keep the ball, and he was on the end of a battering at the same time. Good work by McCormack. Now Glanville, solid tackle. Muir's there to support, then away for Johns, and he's captured in the defence, but Andrew is strong, as is his brother. Now for O'Davis. Davey comes in. O'Davis's arms hadn't touched the ground. He opted to play the ball. Ainsko on the blind side. He puts in a long kick, and Silver will watch it. 15 out.
Very good kick there from Jamie Ainsko, the left foot. Picks up 40 metres. Again, good lead-up work from the Johns brothers. Two aspects of their play that they don't get raps for, and they do get a lot of them. One is their toughness. They don't mind getting tackled. They don't mind taking the ball into the forwards. The second thing is that they do not panic. They do the basics so well, the simple things, but when they're under pressure, they take the right option, and that's a sign of future great players.
Terry Lamb, away from his own 10-metre line, but there's that defence again. O'Davis and Matthew Johns. Now Price. Stephen Price in the side for Jason Smith, out injured, as is McCracken. And in fact, Williams would have to be classified as injured, even though I fancy that Dallas was picked in the original side. This is Newton. Now, Hetherington, he lets Simon Gillies go. Simon's still got a look of bewilderment on his face at the try being disallowed.
This may have been a little bit harsh in the support player criticism. The side on view, it did appear as though the pass went backwards. The worrying aspect for Newcastle was the way that they opened up so easily. Just a simple pass off the shoulder. Darren Britt got through the front defensive line.
Andrew Johns working a scrum from just outside his 20-metre line, and here's Matthew making the bust. O'Davis is on his inside. Halligan's missed in. Oh, get in the queue. Have a look at him. They got the hands up all over the park. Ainsko, he gets the try. Oh, it was like a relay with everybody running alongside each other. Matthew Johns, he made the bust. 12-0.
And the crowd absolutely love it. And why not? Matthew Johns, we're talking about his toughness. Look at this. Bang. Accelerates straight through the tackle of Terry Lamb. Throws the dummy, gets out of an attempted tackle from Halligan, which was a pretty ordinary one. I still think he would have got there, but he made a bird of it by picking up a quicker man on the outside in Jamie Ainsko. And that's why Ainsko's having such a good season. His individual play is tremendous, but also running outside this guy has made an enormous difference. State of Origin 5'8", done it all himself here. Barnes was on the outside of Ainsko. He's even quicker. Length of the field try there.
Andrew Johns from 22 out. He's got a nice record today, but this will test him. It's on its way. Oh, there is no test, is there? There is no test for this super kicker. 14-0 the Knights over the Dogs. Smiles all round. An afternoon in the park for the Johns boys. Look at this.
They've had a few of them. The crowd have really taken them to their hearts. Local boys have made good. Newcastle district, they can see the future in the number 7 and the number 6. They'll be the basis for all the good things coming.
Lamb starts us. Adam Muir brings it back. Jolting tackle over the top from Scott Davey. Price was underneath. Two of the new chums in the Canterbury side. Now Ashley Good. Though Herman has scored a try and been fairly highly involved, it's been very much the halves working on a good foundation laid by their forwards, including their captain. The outside backs have really only had to finish off what has been done for them inside. Played by Andrew Johns. McCormack able to run and kick from dummy half, but he didn't like it. It went straight down to Rod Silver, and he'll be tackled just beyond the 30-metre line by Ashley Gordon, angling in off his wing. Dallas now using Lamb, and Lamb, he takes them on. Reaching the 40-metre line, trailing 14-0 though. Lost James Pickering. That didn't help. They took the field with several of their stars out. They're doing it tough. But Newcastle will not be feeling any sympathy for them. They haven't beaten them here at Marathon since 1990. Darren Britt. He doesn't lose caste in any company, Darren Britt. It's probably the highest tribute I can pay him. A way for Terry Lamb to keep it. I don't know that it was intentionally low. O'Davis, a little murmur of a problem there. Now it's with Tracy. He hasn't had the work to do that he did in Adelaide. Herman to the 40-metre line. Not job him, but he comes in and he lends assistance a lot more than many of the wingmen in the game, as Muir now looks up at his tackler as if to say thanks very much for that. And this is Harrigan now to the halfway line on 5. McCormack signals left and they go right, and it's an ordinary kick that was touched in flight, so they're all onside and they're coming down on Silver. He gets away from one. He is taken by Marquette. 7 metres out from his own line.
A good reaction there by the Newcastle chasers. Barnes and Glanville leading the way. That's 2 tackles now against the Bulldogs, and we still have 3 or 4 forwards coming back onside. This is tough times for the Bulldogs at the moment, not far out from half-time, trailing by 14. You cannot allow points to be scored before the break, and there's another mistake at this end of the field.
Yeah, they've obligingly knocked on themselves. It's a double knock-on. It'll be Newcastle's feed. Just outside the 20-metre line. Watch it here. Newton tried to get a pass off. It went forward, then knocked on by Muir. Newcastle with the loose head and feed. The back line is very deep in anticipation. Matthew Johns goes wide to Ainscough on the second pass. So Davis comes in from the back. Davey hangs on desperately. Davis, Dallas is down injured as Matthew Johns goes. Oh, Marquette taken with a bell ringer by Price. 20-metre line. Dallas is still down. McCormack across for Andrew and Matthew to handle. And now Adam Muir flicks it out the back for Andrew again. Now they've outnumbered them. Harrigan's pass goes away for Matthew to give on. And now Barnes, he's going for the line, but oh, Silver, he made a great tackle. Tapped ahead, he's over. It's a try, scored by Nathan Barnes. And the Knights are having a picnic.
And again, the mistake made by the Bulldogs. Rich Newton trying to get the pass away, gave possession to Newcastle. Dallas is down. It's only a 12-man defensive line. Tremendous interplay here, keeping the ball alive. Harrigan, a good ball there. And Barnes, heading back in field, gets inside 3 Bulldog defenders. A try save from Silver was a great tackle, but no one got into marker. And then he's played the ball forward. Nearly made the mistake, but he maintained composure, got control of the ball and dived over. Someone had to get into marker. Just didn't react, too quick. And that's been the problem for the Bulldogs. The play the ball area for Newcastle has been great. Good offload there. Matthew Johns keeping the ball to Barnes. All the defence going across. Britt didn't have the speed. Great tackle from Silver. Everything's just happening in a flash out there, and it's going against the blue and whites.
Andrew Johns now. Only 15 metres out. He's been kicking immaculately, and there's no reason to think he'll miss this one. He doesn't. And that scoreboard rolls over. Embarrassingly now, 20-0.
Bulldogs nil here at Newcastle Stadium.
Brett Dallas has been replaced, taken off injured, and his place taken by Stan Tulavau.
This is in jersey 35. He was originally, beginning of the week, named on the bench for reserve grade. It's been a rapid elevation, and problems continue for the Dogs in the injury department.
That's where it happened to Brett Dallas. He finished up getting the boot of his own player. Oh, Harrigan. Taken in a solid tackle there by Darren Brett. Harrigan has been pulverising in his runs. 40 metres out from the Newcastle line as Andrew Johns goes over for Adam Muir. He's playing a very busy role today, Muir. That's knocked backwards. Andrew Johns, look at this. He stands and gets away from Simon Gillies. Marquette gives it on. Matthew Johns is with it. They're losing ground but keeping it alive. And they're back on their 30-metre line. Glanville gives it on the blind for Tracy.
Just with the Johns boys, Ray, and it does apply to a lot of the Newcastle Knights players. Have a look at how often when they are tackled by a number of players, they still manage to get both hands free. It's amazing, and that's why their ball play is so good. They're not forced to throw silly passes. They can get a good pass away with two. Here's Glanville coming off the blood bin. He's got a cut over the right eye. His first game back in the starting lineup, first grade. They come back from injury, and what a boost he is to the side.
He'll be stitched up during the halftime break. And Chris Joynt, the big Englishman, goes on.
Well, after Adelaide, Ray, you'd just be throwing the ball straight to him, wouldn't you?
He took 45 seconds in Adelaide to get the ball over the line. Here he is with now a run of 55 metres in front of him, but that's much too much. Now, for Matthew Johns to combine with Paul Marquette. Doesn't get a lot of raps, Paul Marquette, but he's obviously a very highly regarded player in the mind of the coach. Matthew Johns rolls it over the sideline.
Well, he's one of the perfect examples of the effect that Malcolm really has had on this club. The transformation in his attacking play this year is quite remarkable, Paul Marquette. I don't think in 2 seasons of football I saw him pass the football more than 4 or 5 occasions. He does that in one match now.
Canterbury using Tulavau to come off the right wing. Take the first play for Terry Lamb now to use Simon Gillies. Marquette was up there with his second row partner Darren Tracy. They make the tackle and Newton takes it up, but Harrigan's waiting for him to give him back a couple where he's handed out. When I say that, I'm talking about the strength of the tackling on Harrigan has been very strong, legitimate. Price has pulled off a couple of big tackles, Stephen Price. Terry Lamb, he chips for Rod Silver. Johns is back there. Matthew. Now one-handed take by O'Davis, and he sprints back to the halfway line. Hetherington's got him wrapped up. They all look to be strong, don't they? Never do they give up. Now that was knocked on, and it's offside against Canterbury.
And it's an accidental offside there. Will still lead to a penalty. Matthew Johns realising that only seconds left on the clock. Put the kick through. Fine touch well down. Now we'll see whether they'll opt to go to the air once again or look to go wide.
20 points to nothing. And Andrew takes the tap and immediately goes to the air. Joynt is after it, so is Rod Silver, and Silver was equal to the task. There's the break. 20 points to 0, and this crowd will give their home heroes one hell of a halftime reception. Welcome back. Thank you for rejoining us with Newcastle leading 20 points to nil. Canterbury with all the work to do. Simon Gillies brushing away from Adam Muir's ordinary attempt to tackle. Dean Pay is on for Canterbury. That won't do them any harm. They lost James Pickering. There's the time in possession, and it's quite vast in favour of Newcastle.
Both teams made a lot of mistakes in the first half, but the Bulldogs' big problem was that they did that in their own territory, and that enabled the Knights to bust their line on plenty of occasions. And we see some more mistakes at this end of the field. The line breaks going. Newcastle Knights way 4-1, and they scored 3 tries, so they took their opportunities when they presented themselves. Here's a break by Polamander up the middle of the ruck. He's got Lamb in support.
Lamb run down by Nathan Barnes. The kick ahead. Ashley Gordon has made a mistake. Ainscoe has to bang the ball over the dead ball line. A fairly lethargic start to the second half for the Knights.
It sometimes happens for teams that the worst thing that can occur is half-time. The Knights were going great guns. They've been busted straight away. A lot of Newcastle Knights players getting back there. Gordon overruns it. Ainscoe, he took the right course of action.
Go back with the line dropout, and Halligan brings it back to the 30-metre line, and there he's met by 3 of the Newcastle Knights, including Chris Joynt, who came on late in the first half. He's retained that position. Pay, tackled by Muir and Harrigan. And now it's Darren Britt ambling up to the 20-metre line. For Hetherington to listen for a call. It's on the blind side, but they come back to the open for Price. Just inside the 20-metre line, they assemble their forces again on the left with Dean Pay. The ball goes back and Terry Lamb knocks on. Advantage applies. Andrew Johns is pulled down by John Timu. Quick play the ball, and Tracy is outside the 40. Had he have looked on the right and not the left, O'Davis would have scored. Harrigan. Price makes the tackle. Harrigan losing his footing. Now they've got a big line. Matthew Johns across the face from Adam Muir. There's the pass. If you wait for it long enough, he'll get it to you. Now the Johns brothers combine, and Andrew goes up the centre. He brushes away from Terry Lamb. Plays it in the centre of the field, 39 metres out. Ainscoe and Matthew Johns combine. They roll it in behind them. Barnes is after it. There's a chance here. Barnes is in. He's in. It's a try. Oh, that is miraculous stuff.
Well, I don't think I've seen a better performance all year at club level. Newcastle, as I say, they're making some mistakes, but generally they're doing everything superbly. Mistake at the other end. Dean Pay's pass didn't find Terry Lamb. The little kick through. Slow to turn Halligan. Silva was a long way away, and Barnes has got great speed. Should have been pushed into touch by Rod Silva. It was an ordinary effort from the Bulldogs fullback. Everything they touch turns to goal. Matthew Johns holding the ball out, teasing the opposition. Barnes gets the bounce. Had to end up in the first row of the stand, but didn't.
Andrew now. Gee, I tell you what, they're giving him a nice test. He's on the sideline. 4 out of 4. Want to back him out?
I had a bad day yesterday, mate.
He's 6-4 on offer out the back. See if he can get something of it. There's the kick. He's kept it low and he's pushed it across the face. So, no addition to 24-0. It's all Newcastle. Polamander, 15 out from his line. Simon Gillies, just beyond the 20. Price.
They haven't played that badly, Ray, the Bulldogs. They must be shaking their head in disbelief, looking up that they're 24 points in arrear, haven't put a point on the board themselves. Okay, they've made a lot of mistakes, very uncharacteristic ones. Still don't believe that they would think that they've been 24 points worse than their opposition.
Hetherington across for Lamb to go on, and Dimmick to promote for Timu, and Polomounder's out and outside centre making ground. Here's a chance for Halligan. O'Davis is on him, and Halligan throws the ball out the back desperately. Turnover has been ordered. And be careful of the Knights. They don't mind striking from inside their own 20-metre line. Herman.
One of the key points of this game as well was the no try for Canterbury in the first half when Gillies was ruled to have taken a forward pass. Here's Halligan, can't beat O'Davis. It's the last tackle, so he just lets the ball go. Good attack from the Bulldogs, and that's what they need to do on the last tackle. Try and take on this Newcastle defence.
Here's the Johns brothers combining with Adam Muir, and Muir is well put away. As Mark Glanville comes back to the sideline, he's been stitched up, and Andrew Johns pilots this ball so definitely down and into touch. Joint comes off, Glanville goes back. Looking at the difference in these two sides, I'm talking about the scoreboards last year in their two encounters. They would indicate the Dogs were twice as good. Polamatta feeds wide for Lamb, or distributes wide for Lamb to use Rod Silver. And now for Davey. The only consolation I think that Canterbury can wrestle with or entertain is the fact that they took the field with a fairly decimated team, and then that was even further decimated as Dean Pay stands and unloads for Lamb, but Lamb is tackled by Ainscough, dwarfing over the Canterbury captain. Dimmick's pass has gone into touch, so now they start to push the ball, and it's going against them.
Yeah, again, execution is poor. If this pass finds its mark, then there's space on the outside. Well and truly behind Price. Ashley Gordon had come in. That allowed Tulavu and Price on the outside. As it has so often this afternoon, the pass going astray.
35 metres out from the Canterbury line. It's Newcastle working with their 5/8 and centre, and the other centre, Barnes, is the man was meant to make the break. They're 33 metres out. Glanville keeps it going, but he's outnumbered well and truly. Just beyond the 20-metre line, Canterbury's into the ground. Herman, the dummy half, away from Matthew Johns, and then out for the forwards, who are out very wide. Darren Tracy, the recipient, and then McCormick dummies once. Andrew comes back. Robbie O'Davis up the centre, gets a one-handed pass away, and the advantage applies for Canterbury, even though Newcastle come up with the football, and Jeffs gives the penalty.
Chris Joint back on for Newcastle, replacing Paul Marquette, who's had a fine game. Jim Dimmick finds touch. 1 metres out from his own line. They've just got to start again, the Bulldogs, not worry about the scoreboard, and try and get something going in this second half. They can't win the football game, but they've got to build something they can take into next week in the ensuing weeks.
Talking of next week, we're in for a bonanza on Friday night. Canberra versus Newcastle at Bruce Stadium. That will be the test for Newcastle. Bruce Stadium in the middle of winter against Canberra.
Test for us.
Dimmick, a one-handed offload for Hetherington. Right on the halfway line. And it's Gillies now for Lamb, and Lamb kicks for Tulavu. He's got the bounce. He goes inside the 20-metre line, but pulled down out there by the winger outside, Ashley Gordon. They come back across now with long passes for Pay, and he puts it down, trying to find Simon Gillies.
Strong
turnover is on.
Strong tackle from Chris Joint there. A better one from Ashley Gordon on the far side. Tulavu had got his arms free. A lot of support on the inside. Deft kick from Terry Lamb deliberately for his winger, who got the bounce. And there are 2 or 3 defenders on the inside, or attacking players on the inside, but Gordon came up with the ball and all.
24-0 in favour of the team with the ball. Newcastle in front of a crowd, I suppose, of around 25,000. And they can't take many more. So this is capacity. Glanville.
They can continue to play this style of football, this enterprising, entertaining brand of football, it'll be capacity every week.
Muir. This joint was looking for the pass. Tracy is with it, and he's tackled about 7 metres from the halfway line. 5 tackles gone. Barnes giving it, and it's Andrew Johns who keeps it down inside the 10-metre line for Rod Silver. Silver back. The chase good. McCormick beaten. Joint was beaten. Slicing run by Silver. Played back for Hetherington. Lamb comes up. Lamb makes it further 10. Gives it back for Hetherington. Good support play by the 9 and the 6 for Canterbury. Hetherington now for Polamalu. Now Dimmock, and then Davey, and then Tulivu. Aints goes across. He misses him this time. And Gordon makes the tackle. They come back and across for Dimmock to straighten and gets out of a tackle and takes it inside the 20-metre line, but Newcastle are offside.
Yes, Paul Harrigan knew that he was offside. He's got 10 minutes in the bin for a professional foul. That's a pretty tough call. You can see Paul Harrigan weighing up the option as to whether he should make the tackle. He was just too tired to get back into the defensive line, and that is a tough call. I didn't think it was a professional foul. It was one out of tiredness.
Being paid. Back on again. The play arrested. And now they run decoys to the blind side, and Polamalu provides in the open for Lamb to flick it up for Dimmock to give away. Polamalu working in a heavy traffic zone. He'll play it 10 metres out from the line. Hetherington gets the pass away. Silver makes a dart up the centre. It's advantage, and Newcastle had a chance. I think they might have bombed it. Well, he did, and it'll be a Canterbury feed. Cormac thinks about it.
First warm of the night to beat the Western Reds here on the 19th of March.
This is where they had the chance, and McCormick knocked on there.
And the Newcastle Stockland Knights, on behalf of the management and supporters of the Knights, our thanks to Australian Post.
Newcastle have to get another player in the pack here. It's Mark Landville, who was at 5'8". So there is an extra player out there in the Bulldogs' back line.
Silver. An up and down kind of game. Dimmock. And straight over the top of O'Davis. Held on. Got a pass for Price. Can he do something? And how close is that? Price plays it back. Hetherington gives it away. Dimmock. A long ball away for Polamalu. If they can get wide, they can score. Dean plays the right man in the right place. Now it's Gillies. Down for Polamalu. Newcastle scrambling brilliantly.
Again, Jamie Ainscough was the key player. Got up quickly and stopped the overlap being exploited. Petros, the dummy, finds Gillies in the middle of the ruck, but he found Mark Landville.
10-metre line. Canterbury. They've got to start doing something. Dimmock. There it is in frustration. Newcastle is with it. Was there a hint of a tiny knock-on their behalf? Herman on the 20-metre line. And the vocal Novocastrian crowd again calling for a penalty, but thankfully Kelvin Jeffs hasn't been suckered into that today. Now Mark Sargent, beaming, ready to come on.
He won't get much of a reception either, Mark Sargent, when he comes out. Enormous cheer around the ground as the big man comes on. Mark Landville leaves the field.
Well, it's to be said that Mark Sargent has given this club plenty. And though he's made that decision to join the Rebels, he thinks he's doing better for himself.
Unfortunately, the people up here haven't forgotten what he's done as he winds up. Been a great servant for them. He was their first international.
Ooh, Jules was on the end of a Dean Pay shoulder. Pay probably saying to Joint, I'm the same bloke that you bumped in England at the end of last year. Don't be fooled by the 25 on my back. Now Andrew Johns, cross for his brother, and then here's the big fella out wide. Sarge He's 25 metres out. Across now for Matthew and Andrew to form an angle. Then around the corner pass from Tracy for O'Davis. Then for Ainscough. He's beaten Tulavau. Stands and gets it down. O'Davis is inside the 20 and he's put down. They will not say die as Andrew Johns rolls it in. Silva, he comes across to shadow it. He's gone over the dead ball line. Now the Knights will get it back again.
No shackles when you're enjoying yourself. There's one team out there who is doing exactly that. Johns rolling the ball, aiming for the posts. Bounce was okay because it forced Silva to play at it, and Barnes, who has had a strong game with Ainscough in the centres, makes the tackle.
Halligan. That's a shallow kick from Darrell. McCormack. He did very well because that ball, you'd bet long odds it would go on, but it actually sat up and came back, and McCormack went across to cover that eventuality. He goes to the left with his pass for Joint. Joint plays it, the 12 metres down. McCormack's looking at the corner. He's over. Did he get it down? In goal, judge says no.
Well, it was a great tackle out there. McCormack taking advantage of a quick play the ball from Joint. Craig Pollamouta, I think, was the Bulldog who saved his side on this occasion. There he is. Good decision. Great football from both teams.
12, South 2 and the Western Reds are trailing Manly. Manly 32, the Western Reds 22.
A scrum that is to be fed by Newcastle. Jeff's not liking it. Now it's fed and won, and what are they going to do? They let two. Oh, he's gone for himself. He'll do it himself, Matthew. Oh, he is a little wizard. 28-0. He threw a dummy to one centre, a dummy to another, and then, well, he just robbed the chemist shop completely.
Yeah, sometimes silence is golden. I think you just sit and watch this. It's just a freak. Put on a try for Ainscough with the length of the field run. This time, wizardry with the football. Overreading by the Bulldogs defence. Davey ended up getting a touch maybe. But that's all.
Andrew Johns has only missed one. 28-0 becomes 30. 30-0. When have Canterbury been on the end of something like this? This is the try. You should watch it.
Bodies in motion. That puts pressure on the defence straight away. And the acceleration of Matthew Johns straight through the gap.
Herman. Strong yards. McCormack. Harrigan. Taking it up very strongly again today. A couple of times he's unloaded. 5 gone. Matthew Johns neatly puts it down. Rod Silva running away, bringing it back. Away from Ainscough and falling at the feet of Chris Joint. And Adam Muir gets a rest.
Billy Peden coming on. A fine game in Adelaide for them. His first start in the top grade, the run onside Billy Peden. Noted defender. Adam Muir has had a lot of football in the last couple of weeks. And very good again today. Good ball from Dimmicks, not taken.
Chris Joint, he can take it. He's 35 metres out from the line. Newcastle on their first tackle. 25 for the Knights.
That's Peden.
Is Billy Peden. Andrew Johns. And then a floating pass. Barnes gets it on the second bounce. Away from Price, away from another. Taken in a third. Joint is with it. And he's 23 metres out from the Canterbury line. At 30 points to 0, the Knights, with McCormack turning it back. Ainscough is there. The ball down for his centre partner. Barnes kicks, and Silva will get it back. Very tired Canterbury players. They've made 220 tackles to 170, so they've almost made 25% more tackles. Is it any wonder that some of them are getting up slower and slower? Lady Luck was never with them as they came into this match, nor during the match. Price giving it on for Will, for Timu. Timu draw somebody up out of the line, you might have thought. And this is Ralph. Timu, brilliant player in his own right. We've seen that. But even John Timu has been unable to make an impact on this game. 20 metres out from their line, 5 tackles gone. It's obligatory that they check, and they do now, and it will, well, it's bounced up for Robbie O'Davis. And that's the way the ball has bounced in this game. Newcastle have had the fairy godmother with them. Don't get me wrong, they've had a brilliant game, one of the best performances we've seen. When she's bouncing for you, she's bouncing for you. Andrew Johns, look at this lad, the strength of him. He's not going anywhere, but nobody's putting him to rest. Now O'Davis, slipping and sliding, getting it away for Big Sargent. And Mark Sargent is put down 7 metres out from the line. The Dogs are trying to get back. McCormack on for Matthew. Can they catch? Can they score? No. Propelled forward from Tracy to Barnes.
Unbelievable. Matthew Johns threw the ball out. Any one of 4 players could have caught and scored.
Have a look at him with their hands up.
Just took his eyes off it at him. He had a little bit of a look to see where Nathan Barnes was. And again, that came from the fact that Andrew Johns kept the ball alive, got a pass away with 2 hands, and Robbie O'Davis picked up another 20 metres. Should have been another try. Won't make any difference in the final wash-up.
Brett Grogan has gone on in 18, and Nathan Barnes, who's had a fine game, comes off.
He's had a great game, Nathan Barnes. He'd have been man of the match if there hadn't been a Matthew Johns out there.
I would have thought that you have told us who the man of the match is.
I don't think anybody needed to be told, Ray.
Well, we do have an obligation to the sponsor, Advance Bank. You might as well do the whole thing, the whole commercial, $1,000. Tell them.
Matthew Johns gets $1,000 from Advance Bank.
Good on you, Sterler. That saves me a little job later in the day as Lamb gets it away for Dimmick to bounce off the tackle there of Peden. Stands and flick pass. Oh, look out, here's trouble. Aints goes away. 2 tries for Ainsko. Another try. Jamie Ainsko. Brilliant performance in both facets. Dimmick tried something very flash. Ainsko can't believe.
Well, at this stage, you try anything, and Jimmy Dimmick, trying to keep the ball alive, knew that he had some players out there. He threw the flick pass, but it was ill-directed. Trying to get it to those outside players, Timu. Ball going behind. Polamander actually slipped over, and Ainsko reacted very quickly to get his second for the match. And then run into the crowd almost.
Jamie Ainsko, again another player that might have been thinking of $1,000 from Advance Bank had it not been for Matthew Johns. So Andrew will attempt conversion of the 6th try. $142 for the season. There's a chance that he might be back as the leading point scorer at the end of today. 36-0. They love it, don't they? The Johns magic. You can say that again. It's a great atmosphere to come here, particularly the way things have been going along this year. The distractions, the invasions. To come here and be part of a crowd that is bubbling with enthusiasm. Very much an establishment city, a traditional rugby league centre. Great to come here and be part of an atmosphere like this. Not so if you've travelled up from Canterbury or Belmore or Bankstown and watching this scoreboard ticking over, 36-0. Ainsko, they got out wide early. Gordon comes in. Tulavu and Davey combined to put him away. Ainscough now. Inside for Eden. Is there any relation, do we know, to the Commonwealth Games champion boxer? Harrigan. McCormack. So you could say that Canterbury haven't been wrapping the ball up. They haven't been putting them away, and that is true. But some of these fellows are just so damn strong. The Sargent runs on, gets it back. They're looking to keep it alive. Now they kick, and taken by Grogan. And he's 5 metres out from the line.
What a shame he couldn't have caught and passed into one motion. Still got one to go.
Now Herman away for Matthew Johns, and he kicks across. Here's Gordon flying off. Tulavau. He did well.
Great job, Tulavau. That must have been very difficult.
A shag on a rock.
The only part of the ground where he'd have been looking into the sun as well. Robert Ralph takes the ball out, backing backwards. Players coming through.
Sun in his eyes. Nothing was going for him, and he took it magnificently. Tulavau. Jason Hetherington now. 36-0. Terry Lamb finds the line about 9 metres into Newcastle's end. An exhausted Terry Lamb.
Very unhappy afternoon for Terry Lamb. He's missed more tackles and thrown more poor passes I think I've ever seen. A lot of it has been because of the quality of the opposition, the pressure that he's been put under. He'll go away knowing that his own performance wasn't particularly good by his high standards.
The heavy proportion of the crowd looking for the exits. But then look at the crowd standing 10 and 12 deep at the back of the hill area. It's not hard to tell who's winning. Harrigan now. First time since 1990. Newcastle having a win at Marathon over Canterbury. Newcastle averaging 24 points per match at home this year. They've gone well past that average today. Ainscough chips and chases Silver. He's back and around Ainscough and outside the 40 and over the halfway line. We're on the last set of 6 now. Hetherington for Dimmick. Dimmick looking to turn it inside, making the break. Tulavau comes in and he puts it down. Newcastle's McCormack gives it to O'Davis, who beats Palomalta, turns Andrew Johns into the centre, lofts it over for Ashley Gordon, and they're 40 metres out from the line. They go on, joint, Sargent, well, he can't run that far. He picks up Ainscough. Ainscough looks for his third. He's going to get it. He gets his trifecta. Jamie Ainscough gets 3 tries. Marvellous defence. You're sure you didn't name the man of the match one too soon?
No, not at all. And I don't think Ainscough will mind. He had no defence at all on the right-hand side for the Bulldogs. Davey the only man there. Silver coming across. Sargent offloads. I thought Silver would have had the speed to come from behind Ainscough, but wasn't the case. Number 3, and up comes the 40. There you see, realising that was the way to go. The 2 front rowers combining, or big men, Joint and Harrigan and Sargent. And Ainscough scored a couple of easy ones today.
Great picture. A great picture of happiness on the smile on that face of Jamie Ainscough. Temperamental. Some people have described him as being a little bit bad-tempered, wild-tempered, but oh gee, he's blossomed, this kid. He can walk into any centre position anywhere he likes in my book. Now, this kid has not had an easy kick all day, has he, bar one?
He'll probably kick this one. It'll be fitting if this one goes over.
You can still have the 6-4. From the touchline, 22 out. Andrew, he gets it. Have a look at it. Have a look at it. Oh! Icing on the cake. That's not icing, it's whipped cream. 42-0. What a day. What a smile. What jubilation.